So today is Sunday, the 28th of December. According to the Buddhist perspective, particularly Theravada concept, our life is very fragile and very short compared to the life that we have lived previously, and then we're going to live our life again in the future, countless life. So this life that we are having is very limited. A maximum we could have is 100 years, which is very unlikely. Only in a million or a couple of a million there will be one person living up to 100 years. Some do live more than 100 years. So very exceptional. And according to the Theravada tradition, this era, human life's expectancy is 75. And again, doesn't mean that you will or we will all die at the 75. This is just a standard life expectancy. But within that, some will live longer than that, and some will live not up to the 75. And there are many children who died before their birth, and someone who got birth and doesn't live long. So there are various ways that the people will die. And in the meantime, in a various ways, due to the karma that they have accumulated, they will be reborn in different realms. According to the tradition, a cause of our death, number one, due to the end of our life expectancy. And number two, due to the supportive karma, result of the karma has expired. Third, or both. So both here means their life expectancy has ended and the life support result of the karma has ended. And then the fourth one, accidental karma, and then passed away. Now, having said that these four ways or four causes of our death, then again, it is not that it's fixed on that, and it's very difficult to fix that, maybe because of the end of the life expectancy, or a end of the life support, or both, or a accident. Only a person who can define or explain complete sense would be the Buddha alone. No one can do it. Like yesterday's, my friend's wife died. She's only just over 40 years. We cannot say that her life expectancy should be 75. her life expectancy could be just over 40 years. And in the meantime, we cannot say that life support karma vipaka has ended. We never know. It could be both, or it could be just the one. And in the meantime, according to the story, so her husband and daughter was trying to find someone to help to take her to the hospital and somehow couldn't get anyone to help. So in that case, it can be regarded as the untimely death due to the karma vipaka has come into existence. So it is very difficult to explain exactly what is the cause of it. But overall, doesn't matter who dies, we always find something to make out of it and blame for it, which is the easy way to feel unconfused and take just the one cause of that death. Now my friend, he is crying, remembering his wife, simply in the one cause that if he could have taken her to the hospital, she could have lived. So if he could have taken her to hospital a little early, she could have lived. Now that is his presumption, and he hold on to that concept. And that holding actually, in a way, comforting him rather than thinking of a different causes or try to find the causes. Similarly, there is a particular lady. Her husband died a long time ago in the hospital during the COVID time. Now, being herself as a nurse, she felt that her husband was treated not good. As a result of that, not treated well, he died. Now she hold on to that concept, that theory, and now rather than let go, she became so obsessed and mentally so disturbed. She went around gathering information about her husband's death and trying to write a letter to different people and even planning to hire a lawyer to sue the NHS. Like that. Many stories that whenever somebody died, we always quick to come to the conclusion that because of this cause or because of that cause, that person died. Some can take it and move on, others can't. Just hold on to it and obsessed with that and then questioning why me, why me, why me, and then mentally disturbed. A person who could take it as now this is the end and move on, so life will move on. Carry on with the new plans and new life. But whereas someone who is obsessed with it, still dragged by those stories and then cannot move on. And obviously it is depend on someone who is capable and never are not capable of dealing with that. So that's why the death itself is not the problem, but the problem is holding on to it is. And the practice of the Dhamma is actually learning that this is possible in many ways, and when it takes place, we have to accept. We cannot fight with anybody. We cannot fight with anyone. After fighting, they won't come back. So rather than suffered, lament and sorrow and sadness, according to the Buddha, we have to contemplate on this death as this is how it works. This is how a life is. And life is very uncertain. It's impermanent. So when we reflect on that in this way, then there will be a less suffering. And we also will understand that the death is not the end of the life. It's just one part of the system that we are in the cycle of the birth and the death that continues due to the cause and effects. And understanding that these are bound by the three characteristics, that things always change, and this change brings the suffering, and this change, in fact, we cannot hold on to it. So, whether we like it or not, our physical body, day by day, is getting old, getting sick, and then eventually it breaks. Whether we like it or not, it will break. This is a natural law. With that breaking, our mind also leaves due to the cause and effects, the karma that we have accumulated. And in the meantime, based on the karma that we have accumulated, generated during the lifetime, will be the main root cause for the coming life to be. So, our actions, the karma, is the cause, and then the last mental state is the approximate reason. And that last moment of the mind or consciousness, that takes something that we regularly do, and that takes to the new birth. Now, whenever we see that, the death in a different perspective, it is important to understand that there were millions of people in the past, and there are millions of the people, and there will be millions of people. Among them, no one survived. Doesn't matter which prosperity, or ethnicity, or nationality, or wealth, or poor. Eventually, they have to die, And among these millions and billions of people, those who passed away, only a handful of them have been recognized and continue their memories, like the Buddha, Jesus, Muhammad, or Sikh, Guru Nanak, and so on, or some philosophers. And that's because a good thing that they have given to the world. Similar to us, we are also one of the billions of a people. It is up to us, despite of knowing that our life is fragile and we are going to die one day, sooner or later, and then we have to reflect, what do you want to leave it in the world? And we do not know when we're going to die, so it is very important we do it every moment of that. And then live your life in a way that you can rejoice, and as well as others can feel your presence as a valuable before the death comes. And with that reflection, it actually gives us a space to feel free and to feel not to be fear or frightened of it. And whenever we see someone's death, rather than we are mourning, rather than we got very upset, we take it as an example that one day I will be like him, like her. I will be lying like him, like her. And that's how we can take control of ourselves and will not be disturbed by the concept of a death, or even if we have to die, then we won't be disappointed or saddened. During the time of the Buddha, there was one little girl, just over 10 years old. Without paying respect to the mass, she walked, and the people weren't happy and asked, what a not untrained girl. When she was asked, where are you going? She said, I don't know. Where are you from? I don't know. Do you know? Yes. And people thought that how arrogant, she didn't answer properly. Now the way she was answering was very ultimate rather than conventional. A question, where you from? She said, I don't know. Which means she doesn't know where she came from. That means the previous life. She didn't know where she came from. What was her previous life? Where are you going? Then she answered, I don't know. Then again, she doesn't know that where she will be reborn. But do you know? Then she said, yes. That means that I am going to die. So that was the wise answer that this little girl gave. So as long as we have this great hatred and delusion, we do have to reborn again and again, but we will not be disturbed by the stories. We will be more conscious and reflect on that. and try to find ways to liberate ourselves. Now, having said that, doesn't mean that I do not feel it. I am not enlightened yet. I do feel too. I do have a fear as well. But whenever these things takes place, I try to be mindful of. Like when my father died, I was very disturbed. I was more disturbed when my mother died. I even went to counseling service. So that's why I do feel as well. But whenever these feelings arises, I try to be mindful as much as possible and bring the teachings of the Buddha to contemplate. And after that, a couple of years ago, when I was meditating, I reflect on the emptiness. Even last visit to Thailand, I felt so empty, tasteless. Wherever I went, wherever I saw, wherever I do, I felt like it's just an imaginary world that we are living, so hollow. And yet, those who do not know, entertaining themselves and feel so happy and mindlessly running and running and running. And if they have understood that life is very short, then they won't be traveling like that, but rather they will contemplate a life is a beautiful thing that is fragile, but will try to live life more heedlessly, fruitfully, and work towards the liberation. And even the Buddha also said one of the stanzas, those who contemplate on a death that one day we have to die, then there will be no quarrels. Nowadays there are lots of quarrel going on and fighting going on, discrimination going on, simply because they never think that they are going to die soon. They think that their life is longer and they're fighting over one another. But the very moment when we reflect on that, we won't be fighting, but we contemplate this precious life that we have and use it wisely for the contemplation and attainment of a liberation. So with this, once again, this morning we will be chanting this Abhidhamma to dedicate to my friend's wife who passed away yesterday, wishing her for the good departure.